So in the tangential direction, f at theta in the tangential direction is going to be m omega square Re cos theta sin theta. The force at theta in the radial direction is going to be this force minus the component of force in the normal direction. So this is going to be G mm by Re square minus m omega square Re cos square theta. This is the force in the vertical, in the normal and the tangential directions. If we look at the angle between the net force and our reference line, say that angle is delta. Suppose we have a force in this direction, we have a force in this direction, the net force will be somewhere along this direction. So the angle delta here, let me just jot it briefly. This is one force, this is another force, this is the normal, this is the tangential. We will have a net force in this direction. The angle which it makes with the normal, let's say is delta. We need to find out the tan of delta, which is nothing but force in the tangential direction by the force in the normal direction. Therefore, tan delta is going to be equal to m omega square Re cos theta sin theta divided by Gmm by Re square minus m omega square Re cos square theta. This is what we have. Now, we must note some basic facts. If we calculate the value of omega square r and we calculate the value of Gm by r square, both being acceleration terms, this is the acceleration due to the centrifugal force, this is the acceleration due to gravity. We will find the value of this is much less than the value of this. You may verify by putting the values of Gm and r. These will be corresponding to the earth. If this holds, we can neglect out this term. Therefore, tan delta becomes equal to omega square Re cube sin 2 theta divided by 2 Gm. This is what we get as the value of tan delta. This is a very important result with respect to geology and astronomy and calculation of G when we change latitudes. The knowledge of tan delta will give us a lot of information regarding the earth. Or in other words, if we want to know at what latitude we are, we just need to know the value of tan delta from a list of values which can be found in any good book. We need to know the value of omega, which we already know because we know the period of rotation is 24 hours. We know the radius of earth, we know G, we know M, we know everything in this part. We can thus find the value of sine 2 theta, which in turn gives the value of theta. Once we know theta, we know at what latitude we are presently at. The next thing we look at is going to be the critical velocity. This term has much relevance as far as satellites are concerned. Critical velocity is basically the velocity required for any body to move in a circular orbit around a planet, which is basically for a satellite. So this is the velocity which is needed by any mass to move around in a circular orbit. Let's say this is Earth or any other planet. We need a velocity so that it can move around in a circular path like this. If we look at the forces, this small mass m, which is circulating in a circular orbit, experiences is the centrifugal force and the gravitational pull. These two forces must balance off to keep it in this path. Thus, it will rotate in a circular path. So the gravitational force, which is gmm by, let's say, the radius of the orbit is r, should match with the centrifugal force, which is m omega square r. Therefore, omega square can be written as it's v square by r square. So gmm by small r is going to be equal to mv square by r. Therefore, v is going to be equal to root gm this, sorry, there will be a square here, so we will have an r remaining. So this is what we have. If we simplify this, we get this to be as this. This is the value of the critical velocity for the mass to rotate in a circular orbit of radius small r. So if we calculate the critical velocity at any radius and we also find out the escape velocity from this height, which is, this is the critical velocity of the mass which is traversing in a circular orbit, we need that this mass be escaping out the gravitational field by some escape velocity. That we found out was equal to note that in that case we refer to the object being at the surface of the earth. It may not be so if we have the object at some height above the earth's surface. So it will just be the change in potential energy that will be considered. If you calculate that, you will find the escape velocity expression is not changing, except for the fact that this r is not as same as the radius of earth. This is the only difference that will be created. So this is basically the critical velocity. Now, if you are supposed to find out the ratio of the escape velocity and critical velocity, you will find that the ratio comes out to be root 2:1. This is valid at any height. and this is valid for any system. This is the concept of critical velocity. Next, look at the concept of geostationary satellites.